Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to work on juggling. Now just to be clear, juggling isn't something that you're going to use in the middle of a match unless you're showboating or something like that. It's more something that you use to prepare for a game. So if you see top professionals, take for example Messi, Ronaldo, when they come out to the training pitch, when they come out onto the field to prepare to warm up before a game, one of the first things that they do is they get on a ball and they just start juggling it around. And it's not to show off or anything like that, it's not to please the crowd. It's actually a part of their preparation. So when you're juggling the ball, you're just getting used to the weight of that ball, you're just popping it from one foot to the other, getting your touch sorted out, getting your hand-eye coordination going, and just getting a feel for that overall ball so that when you come into a match, you feel like you've had a few touches on the ball and you're ready to go. So it's something that you can really use for your warm-up. It's going to help you prepare. And although you're not going to use it in a match, the skills that you develop from juggling a soccer ball is going to help you with your touch. It's going to help you with your hand-eye coordination and some other things. So it's a good skill to learn. So I'm going to teach you today the very basics of what you need to be able to juggle a soccer ball. So let's get straight into it. So one thing you need to know about a football, is wherever you make contact on the ball, doesn't matter where it is, it's basically going to go off in that direction. So if you make contact right here, it's going to come off right here. So if you drew a line through the ball wherever you make contact, that's the direction it's going to go in. So if I hit it down here, it's going to go off up here. If you hit it high up on the ball, it's going to go low, etc. So when you're juggling a ball, what I see a lot of players making common mistakes is they're hitting the wrong part of the ball. They're either hitting too far back or too far forward. And now look what happens when you hit the ball in the wrong position. So for example, if you hit too far back, right here, it's going to come off forwards like this. So as you can see, when I'm hitting far back on the ball, it's just going to come off forwards. And I see a lot of players, when they're juggling around, sometimes they're hitting too far back and either it goes off and they lose control, or they're chasing the ball around the pitch. They're not just keeping nice, good control of that ball. It almost looks like the ball is controlling them and not the other way around. You really want to be in control of that ball. And on the flip side, some players hit too far forward so that it actually travels back towards their body, and it's harder to keep control of it when it's doing that, kind of like this. So when you hit too far forward on the ball, it's going to come backwards on you. So the perfect place you need to be making contact with the ball when you're juggling is right on the underside of that ball. So if you hit right on the underside, it's just going to pop straight up vertically, and that's what you want to achieve. So that's the part of the ball you want to get used to hitting. And if you've never juggled before, this is the way that you can sort of learn to warm up and learn the very foundations of juggling. So you can just have a bounce in between each strike and you're just working on trying to hit that underside of the ball. And the perfect sort of juggle height, I would say, is between the knee and the waist. So this is a way that you can just learn to practice the very basics. Then move on to the other foot. So that's just a very basic way that you can just learn the fundamentals, just trying to hit the underside of that ball so that it goes straight up in the air. Trying to practice getting the right weight, getting the right touch on the ball so that it keeps between the hips and the knees, the waist and the knees. So that's a way that you can learn to warm up. And once you get comfortable with both feet and when you feel like you've mastered that, try and then keep it in the air. And all you're looking for is trying to hit that underside of the ball. Keep your knees slightly bent. That's going to give you more control over your body. It's not going to give you any chance for you to hit the ball off and you're going to have to chase it or anything like that. It's hopefully going to allow you to get a nice touch on that ball so that you look fully in control, kind of like this. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking to be able to stay in the same spot, not running all over the place, and just keeping that ball up. So I keep my knees slightly bent, and I'm just hitting the underside of the ball with the top part of my foot, right on the laces. So this is the part of the foot we're trying to hit the ball with. It's a nice thick area, nice hard area, and you want to make your foot flat. Because your foot is naturally sort of at an angle, you're trying to point your toes a little bit to make that a nice flat surface. So that when it makes contact with the ball, it's just popping it straight up in the air and not hitting it off in all other directions. So that's the basic techniques that you need to practice. Now I'm going to show you 3 drills that you can use to even take your juggling to another level. So let's get into the first drill. So for this first drill, it's very simple. I've just got 4 cones to create a small square, and all you're trying to do is stay within that square and just keeping the ball up for about 100 juggles using both feet. Try and alternate with every touch. So you're trying to keep it below knee and waist height and keep it inside this square. So make sure you lower that center of gravity so it's not traveling outside the square. If it does go outside the square, just reset back to 0 and make sure you stay inside until you've reached at least 100 juggles. You can do more or you can modify it. So even if you can't do 100 right away, try and do as many as you can, and then with every day that you practice, try and get to a higher record for yourself individually. So I'm just going to show you how it's done, and then we'll move on into the second drill. So there we go, just about 100 juggles. Now you can do more if you want, but I'd say if you can do about 100, keeping in this small square, then I think you've mastered sort of that control that you're looking for. I would say that you're a proficient juggler at this point. So then you can move on into drill number 2, which is a little bit more challenging. So let's go. So for this next drill, we're just adding a little bit of movement to it. So we're just going to be walking while juggling, so a little bit more challenging this time. So we've just got 2 cones, and we're just going to be making a figure of 8. So all we're going to do is try and go around these cones 10 times. So every time you hit a cone, that's 1. So try and do it 10 times. I'll show you how it's done. Lost track of how many I did there, so I think it was about 10. So this is just a good one. Obviously it's just adding a bit of direction. You need even more control than just staying in the same spot. So try this one out, see if you can challenge yourself, and then if you can master this one, if you can do this 10 times through without dropping it, then we'll move on into the final drill. This one's really going to test you, so let's go. So for this final drill, we're just going to make it even more challenging. So with the first drill, we just juggled in place. For the second drill, we added some small movement in, just walking in a figure of 8 while keeping the ball up. Now we're going to try and get up into a jog, and we're just taking the ball from one side of the pitch to the other and then back again. So it's just a bit more challenging. Like anything you do, if you want to improve, you have to increase the intensity, increase the challenge with each time that you do it. So this is just taking it up another notch. Make sure you've mastered drills 1 and 2 before you attempt this. But all we're doing is trying to keep that ball in the air from one side of the pitch to the other and back again. So let's go. So that's the final drill done. As we said before, just increasing that level. If you can master all 3 of the drills that I've just shown you, you'll become a very proficient juggler of the ball. So that's all I have for you today. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe for weekly training videos, and as always, I will see you in the next video.